What's going on, everybody? Looks like Sheets just popped in.
He
And
did.
there you are. Yeah, what's going on, man?
Not much.
Okay.
Watching the Houston, Texas game here.
Yep. Go
It's like a game
Texas.
of. It started out. It's funny. Like first, looks like 3 runs were scored in like singles and singles and singles,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of homers.
Yeah. And that Tavares is having a good day, which is good for me. But we'll see what happens. I got
We'll
a
see what
chance.
happens in the late game for sure.
Then yeah. All right. So about this Monday nighter, we've got I'm looking at it right now, and they're still projecting, 6 players. Sorry, 5 players now. Now the sixth is at 9%, but 6 players above 9% of the captain is a pretty unusual slate for a showdown. So I'm kind of curious what you're doing with your captains, what you're doing with your stacks. You mentioned earlier about I think you're right. 3-3 and 4-2 is going to be the most common. I think getting to 5-1 tonight would be a good idea to try to get a little different. Obviously, leaving money on the table. But what are you looking at in terms of captains? I guess to start off.
So same disclaimers as always. It depends on what contest you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So in the bigger buy-ins, I really like your idea of putting Gallup in the captain. I think it's a really good combination of having a decent chance to get there, and like the salary that it opens up in a lot of flex spots, it really does build itself.
Mm-hmm.
So in the big buy-ins, that is definitely where I'm leaning.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. That's what I've got. I've got 2 big buy-ins. I've got I do have Pollard as a captain in one, but what I'm doing where I'm playing Pollard is I'll play I think some people will play Dowdle anyway, but I like the idea of playing Dowdle with Pollard just because it'll be a little bit lower ownership, and I don't think Dowdle is going to be that crazy high owned. We got word that Josh Palmer is available, but we don't have the official Donald Parham. I haven't seen that report whether he's playing or not, and that's kind of a big one for me because he's another cheapie that I'm planning to use. What are you doing with some of the cheap guys in other spots? I mean, obviously, if you're playing certain lineups, if you're playing,
so especially in the lottery, I'm definitely getting my share of certainly Parham, but also and below that Dowdle. And also below that, I'm getting some of the Luke's Schoonmaker at 4,200. Again, just in lottery only, but and the other one again lottery only, the Deuce Vaughn for 1K. Again, nothing. It wouldn't make probably my first 40 lineups, but in lottery when you're leaving money on the table and just kind of shooting for the stars, so to speak. That's what I'm up to. And the last cheapo that I'm getting some of is the Cavante Turpin.
Yep. I have a little bit of that as well. I'm higher on the Parham and Dowdle myself, but I do have some of the Turpin, and it looks like Parham's good to go officially now.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we're good to go there. And
I have a question. How much? First of all, how many lineups you playing?
I'm playing 15 in the $20, and then 2 of the big buy-ins, and then 3 of the $33, and one of the.
Okay, I ask in context. So let me ask you this way: of the 15/20 lineups total you're playing, how many of them have the defenses?
Very few.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I have a little bit of both defenses, but I think only in probably a couple lineups out of those. So I think literally 2 or 3 out of those 15 or 20 will be there.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much the same. I have 10% of the defenses. And curiously, I have more of the Chargers defense than
same
Cowboys defense.
Same here for some reason. Somehow it ended up.
Maybe just because of the price,
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I had the same thing. I didn't get to the kickers much, and I'm open to it. But there's a lot of plays I like that are a little cheaper than the kicker. I like playing Gerald Everett more than I like playing the kickers, for example. But I don't mind if people want to play the kickers. I just personally didn't get them as much in my build. I didn't get to as much Brandon Cooks. I probably will throw in Cooks and the kickers will probably be 10% for me. Are you getting the kickers much?
Not that much. You want to know the truth? Well, I shouldn't say that. I think more than maybe I should. I have 20% of the Aubrey. I just also just have this. I don't mind it because I just feel that coach wouldn't mind kicking field goals. Like I don't know.
He's been the most prolific field goal kicker in the NFL this year, so why not?
There it is.
And the problem is with the Chargers, like I do prefer Aubrey over Dicker. The problem with the Chargers is they just go for it on fourth down too much.
Right. Exactly.
It's harder to want to play them. But I'm going to be spreading out. I'm looking at my different, some of my different captains. Pollard, Gallup are my two highest owned. I'm going to have some CeeDee Lamb captains, which is not going to be anything revolutionary. I'm also going to try. I think I'm going to put Jake Ferguson, the tight end, in potentially into one of them because I do want to get a little different. And even though it's spread out, if you can get that 3 or 4% to hit, like last week with Kittle, for example, which was awesome. I think he was a 3% owned captain, and he just torched everyone else on the slate. So I like getting to a little Ferguson, and I wouldn't mind taking a long shot on like a Quentin Johnston or Joshua Palmer as captains either. Keenan Allen is the most logical captain to me. I also think he's going to end up being the highest owned. I just am not doing it because of the ownership.
So I have a little bit. I have this theory that I've been working with, mostly for MMA, but it applies here as well. I want to share an idea with you. Let me, I'll share my screen to give you an example.
Yeah.
Let me first let me get the right slide up on. Okay, where is that? All right, share screen, entire screen. Okay, so I want to put the following two guys up on the board. I want to put up Cooks, and I want to put up Gallup.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is something I do for MMA, which I think it really is good for Showdown. So you like Gallup, probably more than Cooks. Let's just say, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it's the price, but part of it's whatever. So you like Gallup a little bit more. And you look at the projections and you see that Cooks is projected for like 10 points and Gallup is projected for 8 points. I mean, again, it's only 2 points. Who cares? But
right.
but it's important. It's important. So what I would suggest in the Showdown is this: like if you want to play Gallup, okay, obviously in lineups without Cooks, play Gallup and leave 2,600 on the table. Okay, the idea is that if people play lineups like in these other spots, for example, and have say 5,200 left on it, have like say 5,800 left on the table or whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
they're more inclined for the computer to get them to Cooks because his median is higher than Gallup. Okay,
right.
So the point is that if you play Gallup and you leave the 2,600 on the table, then you're going to get lineups which are even more unique and more different than they otherwise already would be. Because the computer, the algorithm, is likely to put Cooks in the lineups with Gallup if there is that 2,600, if they can. And it's only an extra 2 points in median, so it really doesn't make that big of a difference. But yet still, if you set your settings to just put the best projected things in there, it's going to give like a bunch of Cooks as opposed to Gallup when the rest of the lineups, whatever. So I've been messing with it in MMA, and one thing you could do, like just use these two as an example, is build lineups with Cooks. Right, and then whatever those lineups look like, just swap Cooks out for Gallup.
Right.
I mean? So I haven't really tested it. I'm sure there's smarter people than me can figure out if that's worth it. But it's kind of a cool thing to do in formats where you want to be different, where you have an opinion on an underdog like this or like something like that. That just instead of just saying, well, Gallup's better because of his price, just say, you know what, he's only 2 points projected worse anyway. What the hell's the freaking difference? Let me just play him instead of Cooks and eat the 2,600 salary and get myself a little bit lower ownership on the overall lineup like that.
Mm-hmm. And it's really sharp. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting because this is where projections are a little funny because if you ask me just as somebody watching, well, you could say Brandon Cooks is the number 2 wide receiver.
Oh my God. Jordan Alvarez must have hit a ball like 500 miles an hour off the bat for a home run.
Another one?
Whoever it was in the audience, the crowd that tried to catch that, I really hope it didn't break his hand.
Oh no, he hit another one.
Probably broke the slate as well, but like also
yeah. That's brutal.
You got to watch this replay. I mean, it came off his bat like 1,000 miles an hour.
Shit.
This is nuts.
That
And it wasn't
guy-
like high or anything like that. It probably didn't even go that far. But like put a hole in the they were going in slow motion. It's just like it didn't make it more than like 6 feet off the ground, and it's just
guy's a monster. That's Alvarez. Wow.
So how many do I? So I do have some with Alvarez, and of course, pretty sure most all of them have Valdez. So let's see that.
Yeah, it's really tricky with the pitch. I mean, it was hard to have the Evaldi, and it was just I wanted to play one bat against him, but I probably, even if I did get to the one bat against him, I wouldn't have probably been Alvarez. It probably would have been Tucker because of the stolen base upside. But
we got a game now. Look at this. So bottom 8 5-4. All right.
Oh God, I really hope that Houston doesn't win.
Oh,
I can't deal with it again.
Oh,
I just can't stand him. All right. So
fortunately, you weren't around when the Dodgers went down. So
I was around. I just wasn't on air. I was at the game.
That's what I mean. Around for me to talk to. I'm glad that.
No, I didn't want to. We're all. It's kind of getting ridiculous when you have the teams that are the 3 teams that have been significantly better than everybody else. They win a total of 1 game in the postseason.
Yeah,
it's just wild.
Yeah, this is like a terrible. This is a bad scene. I think all of my Alvarez lineups across both sites have Valdez.
Ugh.
Well, again, the only way to do it is if I had both pitchers in the other game, right?
Right. It's really tough to do. Yeah.
Well, who's the other pitcher besides Wheeler?
Gallen.
Oh, I could have had that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we have to win $1 million in the showdown then. Okay.
Yeah. Why not?
All right. Sounds good to me.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my exposures right now for the showdown, and basically, like, I'll just go through them. I'll post when I'm more updated in the premium Discord. But I've got. Let me just grab the right game set. Oops. Okay. Yeah, Herbert and Keenan Allen are my highest owned players. Gallup is my next highest owned player, followed by Eckler and Pollard. Then Dak. Then I have Dowdle, Parham, and CeeDee Lamb as my next 3, and then I'm getting. The guys I'm getting a little bit less of, but I'm still playing some of, forcing in is Turpin. I actually think that playing Josh Kelly, this is like the perfect troll Josh Kelly game.
Right? The best.
So doesn't it make like some sense to throw some Josh Kelly in there? It makes
perfect sense.
Yeah, no, it's no. We hey, Rody.
Oh, wait a minute, is Deuce Vaughn out? No, he's not. Okay. He had 0 projection. That's okay. So.
Yeah. It scared me there for a minute.
No, Saberson gave me a note on my FanDuel lineup saying you have players in your lineups that are either out or have a 0 projection. I guess it just has 0 projection here. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the FanDuel one, man. If you win that thing ever solo,
that's impossible.
I would love to see that happen. It's crazy. It's totally doable for baseball. The weirdest part is I always throw some big baseball showdown ones because baseball showdowns, like, you can really do anything, and it's totally justifiable. It's
right.
It's just like kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like, you've always got a chance.
Why do you suppose FanDuel keeps it like that? The 5-man or whatever.
I don't know. I really don't. And I don't know why there isn't, like, they used to have the MVP and then the guy who got 1.5x and the guy who got 1.2.
The flex, the superstar, right?
Yeah, that at least made it like a little bit more interesting.
That's in the NBA, right?
Yeah. I think they'll still do that for the NBA at least. Man, the NBA showdown ones are the ones that are the really the impossible ones to ship solo almost. We saw it happen like one time last year. I remember.
Oh, is that right?
Like in the postseason, yeah. Well, it was like for like $1 million, and the guy who did it, he left like 12,000 on the table and just played like all the backups, and it was like a 35-point game.
So Texas leads the series 1-0 here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this pitcher's like 12 years old.
Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the same Chapman that's been around for?
Yeah, it's Aroldis Chapman.
Wow.
Yeah. He's pretty.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so as long as I'm doing this, I might as well share my screen here. So I'm building the FanDuels. See what it looks like. And either there, you got to leave like thousands on the table, or just get really funky.
So the Schoonmaker thing I could get behind, actually. At least he's been targeted like in every.
Yeah, I have in the lottery. I have 24% of him.
Well, 24%.
I mean, whatever. You know what the good news. You know what's good about that? That 76% of my lineups are live, so that's good. Right? That's always the good news.
That's the way to look at it, I guess. Yeah, I'm kind of falling in love a little bit with this Josh Kelly idea, and maybe I'm taking it too far. But how often do we see this, Sheets? I feel like it happens.
Oh, I don't know if we actually see it that much, but just the times that it will happen. I mean, he's going to be like very low owned, I think.
Yeah, I'm telling you though, we don't necessarily see people playing it and it working, but it just happens a lot. You know what I mean? We get the running back who had a chance for 3 weeks, or with no starter, and then all of a sudden he puts up a bigger number than he did, once the guy comes back. Just weird.
I wonder what the real odds were of like Yordan Alvarez hitting a home run off of Chapman, like from left side, probably like 50-1.
I actually don't think it's that bad because Alvarez has gotten really good at hitting lefties.
Oh yeah,
started giving up more home runs. But I would bet it's probably like the 1 out of every 20 at bats. Maybe something like that. Brandon Cruz likes your Schoonmaker play. Is keeper Eckler and the captain too cute? Eckler and the captain is super chalk. Not super chalk. It's just one of the many chalk guys. He's one of the most popular. So there's nothing cute about Eckler being the captain. He is.
I'm a little concerned that Gallup in the captain is going to be the ultra hipster play. That
I think it will be a hipster play to the tune of like 5%. Or
yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right.
It's one of those that people think of but don't actually pull the trigger on that.
Right.
But like, there's no reason that what I like about that play is that other guys could have good games, and he has the upside to actually have the best game of any of the players, and he's so cheap. You can basically put whatever else you want in there. I think he and maybe you could say that about Ferguson. It's possible, but I think it's unlikely. But yeah, Eckler and the captain is fine. Eckler is not at all cute as the captain. It's it's not massive chalk. It's just Eckler will be. I think he's probably just behind Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert in terms of ownership tonight. Maybe a little bit behind Pollard. Those are going to be the top 5 along with Prescott. So those are the really ones you have to you look at it. Saberson's ownership. Pollard is projected to be the highest owned captain. Keenan Allen 2nd, Herbert 3rd, Dak 4th, Eckler 5th, all over 10%. And then they have CD Lamb at 9.5% projected right now. And then Josh Palmer down at 5%, and then it gets kind of drops off the map. So I'm in the play some of the Pollard, but use Dowdle in those lineups. Do the double running back thing that people hate to do that me and Rody love to do. And I think that's your best chance of getting a little bit different with Pollard, along with leaving money on the table.
Why are the Astros fans doing like the gator chop to root for their players? I don't understand this.
I don't know. That's weird.
I don't know what that I don't get really at all.
I don't know. Like they're doing the Braves thing?
Yeah, it's a little bizarre.
Yeah, that is weird. But
I guess they want to do that, which is the most like stupid and tilting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Like if this was a full slate, like if this was a game was on the main slate, I realized that I would have had so much more exposure to this Dallas game than I would have any other game by like a landslide. Like Pollard would have been my favorite running back this week. Keenan Allen would have been my number 1 receiver this week. Probably Herbert would have been my top quarterback, or certainly one of them. And I probably would have played a cheap Gallup and tried to take a shot there. And I would have played a ton of Ferguson. It's just this game has a lot of fantasy potential in it. And with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and do my thing and take the under.
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to show everybody the lineup that I'm going to build here I'm playing the big buy-in on FanDuel. Okay. Let's just see how many people I can chop this with. Let me just make sure this.
Well, I don't think there's that many people in the tournament at least, so you got a chance.
Yeah, I guess not. Okay, so ready? This is going to be really, really off the board. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Ready? So we're going to put Keenan Allen in the captain. And just in case he catches a touchdown pass, we're going to have Justin Herbert throwing the ball to him. And then on the other side, because you like to have guys on both sides, I'm going to take Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup.
There we go.
And then I'll have Prescott throwing the ball to them. In fairness, I don't have CeeDee Lamb or Pollard in this lineup.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's fair
Yeah.
enough. It's not that chalky.
Yeah. So my read for what to do on FanDuel today was to
delete the entries.
Yeah, exactly. But no, the thing I liked the best was leaving the quarterbacks out of it. It's much harder for quarterbacks to score, especially non-running quarterbacks. Although 3 rushing touchdowns already this year for Herbert. But I played the no quarterback angle and hope that the scoring comes from the running backs and the receivers, which doesn't give the quarterbacks enough points. So
I'm just chilling. I have nothing. I built my lineups already, so I'm just kind of like screwing around. I'm looking at the NFL slate for next week now.
Oh, I did that. Yeah, I built it.
Did you? Let me see what this looks like real quick.
Yeah.
So Detroit, Baltimore. That could be sneaky.
It's a good game.
Yeah, that could be sneaky. Vegas, Chicago. I wonder who's quarter. Oh, Fields is legit doubtful, huh?
Yeah, he's not going to play.
Wow. I mean, Vegas defense is going to be popular, I guess. Oh no, they're 3,800. They won't be popular. Who's quarterback for Vegas? That's another good question. Garoppolo, more tests. All right, so that game, no interest. Cleveland, Indianapolis. I guess all Cleveland games are off the board until further notice, right? I mean, nobody scores. Buffalo, New England. I don't imagine I want to mess with that. What a dumb slate so far, right?
Gets better.
Washington Giants, gross. Atlanta, Tampa.
Atlanta could be something.
Maybe. Oh, Pitt Rams. Okay, that could deliver.
Yeah, it's just hard for the Pitt side. And it's hard to know what to do with Pittsburgh right now. But.
Oh, I know what to do with. I mean, if you're going to play it, you know what to do with it, right?
Well, it never worked. It hasn't worked.
Pickens and Freiermuth, right?
It's never worked once, though.
Well,
Pickett has not put up more than I think he's had 120 fantasy point game his career.
Who?
Pickett. He's had the garbage.
So you play the Rams side. I mean, then you run it back with the Pickens.
I think Pittsburgh's defense is one of the best 3 in the NFL. Maybe.
All right. So moving on then. Okay, Arizona, Seattle. That could be okay. That could be something. Green Bay, Denver, gross.
I actually think that might be something. The Green Bay.
Oh, because Denver's defense is so bad, right?
Yeah. And I think the big one is that.
Oh my God! Look at this game. I didn't even know this existed.
It's going to be 100% owned everywhere.
Meanwhile, forget that. Did you see how good the NFL Network is or whatever? They got the Chiefs Miami later in the season.
Oh, I know.
Like a Thursday or something.
Yeah, it's wild. But the one thing that's crazy is that they're saying that this is the worst looking of the Chiefs. Their defense is really good now, and their offense has really not been able to do anything.
Well, this is legitimately where all of the ownership is going.
100% with you. Even though, but it's probably a good idea to fade it mostly on the Chiefs side then, because that's exactly what everyone's going to play, and the Chiefs have not been a part of a game that we would have been able to use all year.
Keenan Allen's only 8,600. Quentin Johnson's going to remain at. Well, let's see what happens in this game tonight. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh look, yeah, this is an Everett.
Yeah, the tricky part is when you try to plug in Allen and Kelsey, which is what you really want in that game, in my opinion. It gets a little tricky.
Now, does KC just want to run the ball?
KC, you're literally building my early first build. No, they don't want to just run the ball. They just don't have an offense. Mahomes is still awesome. It's just they don't have a receiver. They've got.
How about you just play Mahomes then?
You play Mahomes with Kelsey.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
I mean, Kelsey could still win the position by 1 million points this week.
Yeah.
Even in his down games, he's putting up in the 20s. You know what I mean? Like if he gets a big one, this could be like the 40-point.
How did those Zona guys do? Wilson had 4 targets.
They didn't. The Rams defense is really good. They stopped.
Who got the target? Who got the run for the running backs?
That doesn't matter. It was Ronnie Rivers, but it's not going to matter this week because they don't have the only available running backs are Zach Evans, who's a 6th-round pick this year.
No. I mean Arizona.
It ended up going mostly to Cavante Ingram.
Ingram, yeah, 10 rushes, 40 yards. Okay.
Yeah, and DeMarcado started and then just didn't. I don't know. They didn't do anything with him really after that.
Didn't do anything. Rams. Is this legit questionable? Williams? Oh, he's
Yeah,
going to be out.
That's what I was saying. The Rams running back.
Oh, okay. So he's going to be out.
You're going to have to gamble between one of the 4.
Wait, and Rivers is doubtful? Oh, my God.
So it'll be Evans or Freeman.
Royce Freeman?
Yeah, the problem with Royce, the thing is, would they give it to Evans, who's their this year's 6th-round pick? It's going to be one that we're going to have to keep an eye on as the week goes on, because I don't think they even have an answer yet.
This is crazy. They have no running backs.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. But they did
their most expensive running back that's active is 4K.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. I mean, he is a talented guy, like this Zach Evans. So that's what I would probably bet on. But if we hear Royce Freeman's going to get the bulk of the work, then I'll jump over that way. Like I don't really.
You want to do the JM to win play? We'll just play them both 8K.
No, I hate that stuff. I think it's so. The only time it works is like when you have is with Miami or something, you know.
The Kareem Hunt and when Kareem Hunt and Chubb had
Hunt and Chubb, and then or the Mostert.
Who were the other 2 Cleveland guys? I remember when I was first starting to play DFS. Joe Jam DeWin was talking about that. I think it was 2 Cleveland guys that were both like 5K or something. I forget who they were.
Yeah.
Maybe Jacobs against Vegas. I'll tell you, Vegas is terrible.
They're so bad, but so is New England.
No, I mean Chicago's really bad too. That's what I'm saying.
The Vegas, though, what's funny is they're going to be 4-3. They're favored to win that game. If they win that game and they're 4-3, this is one of the worst. Like it's so bad. The NFL this week was horrible. Pretty much every game was hard to watch.
I'll tell you who could be in big trouble is New England.
They're horrible. They're the worst team in the NFL.
And Buffalo's coming off like a bad performance. If unless they get like some really bad weather,
I don't think they're necessarily trying to win anymore. I think the tankathon is on now.
No, that's my point. I think that Buffalo could put up a big number against them.
Oh, it could be like 40-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but this game I think is the one. I think the Detroit-Baltimore.
That's a really fun one.
David Montgomery. David Montgomery's going to miss time.
Yeah, so it's even better.
So and Gibbs is trending towards playing. I
think he'll play.
It's going to be Gibbs season, right?
Yeah. The problem is both those defenses I think are pretty good. Detroit. As I've been pointing out about Detroit, especially when they play on the road, that front line is no joke. They are really tough.
Nope. So it's a real low scoring week. Maybe you're that Tampa Atlanta thing that you talked about. Maybe that could. It's so weird. Like on a slate, on a lot of slates, like that's not even a game that you can consider. But like on this slate, it might be like the 3rd highest total. I mean.
Right, and it's nice to see Atlanta. Like you sort of need the right game script, but you could see what's happening with Atlanta, which is when they have to pass the ball, they have all these weapons that are all super cheap because that historically we haven't been able to haven't gotten ceilings out of all of them. But between Pitts and London, who are both super talents, and then Bijan Robinson, who's basically like a wide receiver also. All of those guys, like I feel like could have a big game here, and I really like the idea of running it back on the Tampa Bay side with Godwin.
Wow, Marquise Brown really did have 11 targets, but got 4 catches.
I know. It was horrible.
How did Rondell Moore do? He got 7 targets.
I know. That was a little surprising.
3 rushing attempts for a -4 yards. Oh, Rams are tough.
Davis.
Denver, Green Bay, huh?
I kind of like something Rody just mentioned that I forgot to mention earlier, so I'm going to do about tonight's game.
Yeah.
I do think that Darius Davis, like he just mentioned he likes some Darius Davis. I think that's a really good call. I think playing some Darius Davis is a really good idea. Maybe a little less Quentin Johnston and maybe a little more Darius Davis.
I spent a lot of time considering what to do with him when I did an early look video today, whether to X him out or not. I mean, he's one of those guys with like a 3-point projection and whether to use him or not.
Right.
I just had this thing that in this tough game against like a good team that it just wasn't the game to go to like the 4th receivers, like. But
is he even like that's what we have to ask ourselves is he the 4th receiver or does he have the upside to be the number 2 receiver? I mean, they used him. They had him run the ball 3 times.
I know.
In the last time he played, I should say. No, that was their last game. Yeah. So I kind of like it personally. I just think the price is really nice, and I am probably going to.
Yeah, you know what? That could be the last thing I do is add a little bit of that. Deuce Vaughn is in fact out, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad I looked at that. So I could actually just straight swap him for that guy you just mentioned, by the way, the Davis for now.
Yeah.
And then I'll figure it out later. But okay, we're gonna do that right
now. And Parham. So like I have Dowdle in one of my big ones and Parham in the other, and what I'm doing right now is just making sure to switch to have Dowdle, and it's totally counterintuitive. It's completely which is why it'll be lower owned. But if I'm gonna have the one where I have the captain as a popular Pollard, that's where I want to use Dowdle. I want to use Parham in my other one because I like Parham better as a play. But I like the idea of if I'm going to use Dowdle. Actually, I think they're pretty similar. But if I'm going to use Dowdle, I think I'd rather it be with Pollard as a way of getting different with the Pollard chalky play.
I'm so psyched that we hung around here because I literally was going to hang up and then just like kind of do something else. I didn't even know. I didn't even think to check the Deuce Vaughn. That's awesome that we found that.
I'm glad we figured it out. I'm glad you found it out.
Yeah.
We're gonna
just gonna add all that for a minute.
They go Chargers.
Where's our chat with the info?
With I just don't know if Deuce Vaughn was on all the radars today.
Oh, everybody, you know what? Everybody knows anybody that's less than that nobody wants to play. I probably have. So
that's true.
Make sure to let me know, guys that you thought even inactive guys. Make sure that they're inactive. Take this Deuce Vaughn guy, place him with Davis, and then we'll rebuild in a minute.
All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so I'm just gonna post. I didn't say my exact exposure. I'm gonna post mine in the Discord now, just so you know what not to play. Although captain, actually, I can't say that about Showdown because I've done very well.
No, you're a dude. I'm telling you, you're gonna. The only thing I'm worried about, I'm not so we're going to line up, but we might have the same lineup in the DraftKings.
Maybe
we could.
It's possible. I'll chop it with you. No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. Just as long as we win.
I think we'd be chopping with a few more people though.
As long as we win, I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see.
And so you know what? I do have to go because I do want to redo these lineups with the what's his face out. And I do want to add, and that was I think that's a good call by the by Rhodey with the
Davis,
the Davis. So as far as to replace kind of the whatchamacallit, the cheapo that it's not playing.
Right.
At least I'll get exposure there. All right, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I will. Hey, got a bunch of people in here. Excellent.
All right.
We'll be back at 11 to sweat the millie when we're live.
Awesome. Sounds good. And by the way, Rhodey, that's exactly what I have in my lineup. So I like that it's funny that the optimals are spitting that out. It makes me like it a little bit less, but the Dowdle and Pollard count.
Okay, you ready? You ready? I'm going to do this. All right, everybody. We're ready to get there. Let's get it.